my name is Safia Tamara Aditasari with NPM A1B0200 and 63. I will storytelling the story No Magic for Sale by Doris Lessing. The Farkas were childless for many years when little Teddy was born, and they were touched by the pleasure of their might, who brought gifts of fowl and eggs and flowers to the guest house. When they came to rejoice over the baby, exclaiming with joy over its fluffy and blue golden head eye, they congratulated Madame Farquhar as if she had accomplished a very great thing, and she felt that she had his smile for the surviving native and admiration was warm and grateful. Then, as Teddy got his first hair, Gideon the cook picked up a tuft of soft gold from the ground and held it respectfully in his hand. Then he smiled at the boy and said, "Little yellow head." It became the real name for the child. Gideon and Teddy were best friends from long ago. Gideon has finished his work. He will carry Teddy on his shoulders under the shade of a big tree and play with him there. From quirky little toys out of twigs and leaves and grass, or from animals out of woodground. When Teddy learned to walk, it was often Gideon who was crouching in front of him, squeaking through, finally catching him as he fell, throwing him in the air until the two of them became panting with laughter. Mrs. Farquhar liked the old cook because of her love for her son. Sometimes, small pecan who was born with Teddy, seen peeking from the edge of the bush, stared in awe at the little white boy with magical blonde hair and not-hurt blue eyes. Two small kids would stare at each other with wide and interested eyes, and once Teddy held out his hand courageously touched the black boy's cheeks and hair. Teddy was about 6 years old when he was given the scooter and found sweet intoxication. All day he would fly around the homestead in and out of the flower beds, scattering roosters crowing and another dog, ending a dizzyingly wide arch to the kitchen door. Gideon's young son, who are now shepherds, mainly come from the complex to see the scooters. She is afraid to approach him, but Teddy was showing off in front of him. "Pecanin!" Teddy shouted. "Get out of my way!" And he ran in circles around the black boy until he was frightened and fled back into the bushes. "Why did you scare him?" asked Gideon, very reproachfully. Teddy said defiantly, "He is just a black kid," and laughed. Then, when Gideon turned away from him without speaking, his face fell. He seems to be putting some distance between herself and Teddy, not out of spite, but in the way one accepts the inevitable. No, Gideon would not let his face touch the white boy's flesh. He fine, but there was a serious formality in his voice that made Teddy frown and so. Teddy had been on his scooter and had been resting with his feet on the side of a large tube of plants. Miss Farquhar ran when she heard the commotion. "He is going to go blind," she shouted, holding Teddy close to him. He ran into the bushes. He stood by the window, holding the frightened and sobbing little boy in his arms and peering helplessly into the bushes. It's nothing more than a few minutes before he saw Gideon running back, and in his hand he had a plan. "Don't be afraid, miss," said Gideon. "It will heal little Yellowhead's eyes." Without washing it, he put the root inside her mouth, chewed it hard, and then held her speed there while she forcibly took the child away from Mrs. Farquhar. He knelt over the squirming child, using begged his swollen eyelids in until the slits of his eyeballs were visible, and then he spat loudly again and again, into one eye first and then the other. Farquhar went to Gideon in the kitchen and thanked him over and over. They gave Gideon a gift for his wife and children, and a big quack increase, but these things cannot pay for Teddy, no completely healed eyes was full of secrets. This is the kind of story they tell, and as usual, with a certain nuance being temporary, they all know that in the African bush waiting for precious drugs looking in the park, with a simple look leaves at the road, it is impossible to get the truth about them from the natives themselves as. These things are encouraged in Tell. Little Teddy was there too, his blue eyes glittering with hope to prove the truth. Finally, when the meal was over, Farquhar called Gideon into their living room and explained to that this past. Here was the great physician of the great city, and he had come all the way to see Gideon. Gideon looked from Mrs. Farquhar to Mr. Farquhar, and then to the little boy, who showed important. Because of the opportunity, Farquhar started to explain how useful medicine could be made from the roots, and how it could be for sale, and how thousands of people, black and white, above and below the African continent, could save by medicine when the spiting snake filled their eyes with venom. Gideon listened, his eyes being down on the ground, the skin of his forehead wrinkled in discomfort. Farquhar is done, he no answered. Farquhar probably slept on the plain 50 times a day as they moved from house to garden, from cow's kraal to mealie field, but they will never find out. He said all these things one after another, and it doesn't seem to matter that they contradict. After logging a lot, he will suddenly straighten up, stood up, wiped his old eyes, and looked sadly at Teddy, who was crying miserably at him across the street. Thank you, just it from me. Storytelling, if me wrong, more and less. Thank you, more and less. Sorry. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.